please put your thundersticks together for my man, Min-Liang Tan!
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. Welcome to the Razer Keynote. We have a phenomenal show for everyone here today. But before we start, I'd like to kind of take a look back to where we were last year when I was up here for PAX 2011, and it's been a whole year since then. It's been an extraordinary year. Last year, we announced the Razer Blade, the world's first true gaming laptop. But it's not the world's first gaming laptop, mind you. There are traditional gaming laptops out there, but the world's first true gaming laptop, because luggables have always been there. 2 inches thick, weighing up to about 15 pounds. The Razer Blade was a totally different paradigm. And since we launched the Blade, we've had tremendous response from PC gamers worldwide. That gaming laptops, that was one of the first things that came to mind. That gaming laptops do not need to be one of those luggables. They don't need to be 3 inches thick, 15 pounds. That gaming laptops can actually be both portable and powerful. And it was unbelievable. It's unbelievable. When the Razer Blade was first launched, we even had 2 of our fans fly all the way from Australia to New York to be the first to lay their hands on the Razer Blade. And I think a couple of you guys may have actually seen this already. They went on to put on their unboxing experience onto YouTube. So I thought I'd kind of share it with you.
For gamers, by gamers. Razer.
Oh,
look at this beast! Oh my god!
Party people, are we having fun?
Finally. Oh yes. I'm very happy. Oh shit, it's green!
Well, we just shared the highlights with you. You can search for it on YouTube. It was getting a little unsafe for work, so we kind of stopped it there. So, when we first launched the Razer Blade, we thought we had 30 days of inventory. We prepped it up. We said we're going to have a phenomenal launch. We prepped up 30 days of inventory. We flipped on the switch. But because of guys like Adele and Arnold, the 2 gentlemen you just saw in the video, we sold out in 30 minutes. It was incredible. "30 minutes." And the second and third and fourth shipments, it went just as fast. We're making them as fast as we could. And over this past year, we've been struggling to keep in stock. It's unbelievable. And the press has been very kind to us. It's both been a critical success and a commercial success. So let's see what they've had to say. It's the first time in a while that a non-Apple laptop has engendered this level of interest. The New York Times. The Razer Blade, 17 inches of gaming greatness and gadget. The Razer Blade may not just be the future of PC gaming, it may be the future of PCs, Kotaku. And this has got to be one of my favorite quotes. Holy Christ, is the Razer Blade the most badass laptop in existence? Gizmodo. So over this past year, we've been listening to the gamers. We've been listening to the gamers, we've been listening to the press, we've taken everyone really seriously. So We've even met up with industry leaders, guys like Rahul Sood, founder of Voodoo PC, who ran out and got a Razer Blade and gave us all kinds of feedback. It's his favorite laptop today, which is fantastic. And we focused on all the feedback. We looked at the pros. We wanted to make sure that we kept the pros and addressed the cons in terms of all the press reviews. Every single one of them. Well, it's been an extraordinary year, and today, I'm super thrilled because today we are announcing the new Razer Blade. So, we've kind of completely, in this whole year, we've completely redesigned the Razer Blade from ground up. With all the feedback, we've kept everything that the gamers love about the Razer Blade. And we've iterated over and over and over again on the things they wanted us to address. Now, what is the new Razer Blade? In a single line, the beauty is now the beast. Okay, so what does that mean, right? So what does that mean? The beauty is now the beast. It's a beautiful laptop. Well, 3 things. Extreme performance, and an ultra-portable form factor, and we've got all these new features and applications. It's a little esoteric, so I'm going to take you guys through it. So let's go with first, extreme performance. Let's talk about performance. Over this past year, we've spent our time listening to gamers, guys like you guys, everyone in this room, and they tell us how much they love the Razer Blade. They love how thin it is, 0.88 inches thin, super thin. They love how light it is. It's just over 6 pounds. They love the Switchblade UI. It's beautiful. And they love the all-aluminum construction. But the one thing that we asked the gamers and they told us is that they wanted more performance. They wanted not just more performance, they wanted extreme performance. So that's what the gamers want. And the problem is, and the slight problem is, you want the same form factor, you want the super slim, ultra thin, super light form factor, but with the power of traditional luggable gaming laptops. So in short, you pretty much want to have your cake and eat it. Yeah. Well, we went out and said, okay, great. We're going to look at all the traditional laptops out there, the traditional luggable gaming laptops. And most people think of one of these, the Clevo, the Asus, or the Alienware M17X. Now, all of these are great gaming laptops. They're great. They've got extreme performance. They perform really, really well. And we kind of broke down the baseline performance metrics of all these traditional gaming luggables. And we kind of came up with, they tend to have an Intel quad-core i7 CPU. We've got some friends from Intel here. It's a great processor. And they tend to have an NVIDIA GeForce GTX. Do we have any friends from NVIDIA here? Oh. It's a great GPU. And they all kind of start off at, and this RAM is kind of, at 4 to 6 gigs of RAM. So, an Intel quad-core, NVIDIA GTX, and 4 to 6 gigs of RAM. Well, we listen to the gamers. We listen to you. And for the new Razer Blade, we've crammed an incredible amount of performance into the new Razer Blade. Well, the original Razer Blade featured a dual-core i7 CPU, and the new Razer Blade will feature the newest quad-core i7 CPU. We've pushed the envelope on this. And all of us know that this is pretty much the standard to deliver great gaming performance. An Intel quad-core i7 CPU. What else? Well, it's so new that this particular CPU has not even been officially announced yet. It's really cool. So I can't really tell you because we've got Intel guys in the midst. So it's an incredible processor. What else? We've worked closely with NVIDIA to upgrade the GPU from a GT class GPU to a GTX class GPU. And that's the same GPU that is found in all the traditional gaming luggables. It's an incredible GPU. So what else? The new Razer Blade comes standard with 8 gigs of RAM, and we've done a bit of a speed bump from 1333 megahertz to 1600 megahertz. And these things, the quad-core, the GTX, the new RAM, are insanely fast. They're screamers, pretty much. So, how does it perform? This is how the new Razer Blade stacks up against the 2011 predecessor. It's about twice as fast in certain games like Diablo 3. It's the fastest notebook we've ever built. It's incredible. It's a beast. Now, but the thing is, how does this gaming laptop, it's got pretty much all the baseline metrics, stack up against the other gaming laptops, the luggables? Well, it's quite predictable. It stacks up pretty well. So if you look at this, we've done some ad hoc kind of baseline testing with this. In Diablo 3, in high graphics settings, it's all running about 59, 60. It's all about the same metric, thereabouts. So the bright green is the new Razer Blade, red is the M17X, and then we've got the Asus G75. It's no surprise here. It averages pretty much the same frame rates. Great frame rates. And the benchmarks vary, of course, and here's the benchmark for the new Blade running on high settings for Battlefield 3, over 30 frames per second. Sometimes we beat them, sometimes they beat us. It's pretty much par for course. And always a favorite, Skyrim. I still play a lot of Skyrim. And this is how the new Razer Blade benchmarks against the M17X and the Asus G75. Well, it's incredible. The new Razer Blade now packs the same performance as a traditional gaming luggable. It's hard to believe, because last year we said we were going to focus just on portability. This year, we've gone and taken an entirely different approach to say that we're only interested in performance. But is that the case? Well, it's hard to believe. So let's look at the form factor. What kind of compromises have we had to do when we redesigned the Razer Blade? So we amped up the new Razer Blade for extreme performance. But is the new Razer Blade truly portable at this point of time? Well, because with extreme performance, your thermal envelope rises exponentially. With more power, there's more heat. With more heat, you need a much larger package to kind of put everything in together so that it can be dissipated. That's why the traditional gaming laptop manufacturers have always historically had to compromise. It's not their fault. It's the laws of physics. They've always had to compromise pretty much by having a 3-inch thick laptop, a 2-inch thick laptop, 15 pounds. That's how the way it should be. That's the way it is. And if you look at the Asus, the Clevo, the Dell Alienwares, it's all the same. So this is the M17X. It's a baseline. A lot of you guys are familiar with it, and a lot of you guys may have it, well, clearly not brought to PAX because you've left it at home on the desk. But this is about 2 inches thick, comes close to 2 inches, 1.8 inches. Weighs up to 10 pounds. And to put this amount of performance, and this is the amount of performance we've got in the new Razer Blade, into an ultra-thin chassis is impossible. Asus hasn't done it, Clevo hasn't done it, Dell Alienware hasn't done it. Our friends from that fruit company, they haven't done it either. It's impossible. It's impossible. But at Razer, we specialize at making the impossible possible. This is the new Razer Blade. We've kept everything. We've kept everything. We kept everything that gamers loved about the Razer Blade. The thinness, the weight, the all-aluminum chassis. We kept all of that. Our thermal scientists and engineers redesigned the thermal solution pretty much from ground up. So it's a whole new machine on the inside. So what did we do? We took bespoke parts. So these aren't parts that you go to a factory in China and say, hey, look, I want to make a laptop and stuff like that. We took custom parts. We designed this from scratch, from ground up. And we put some really powerful fans, much quieter. We actually had a whole acoustic chamber. We put a laptop in there. We listened to it. We tested it extensively. We iterated it over and over again. So pretty much, if you look at it, it's more efficient. And it's the same machine, the same beautiful machine on the outside, and a completely different machine on the inside. So for the guys who weren't here last year, and you might not have had the chance to look at it, let me show it to you. The same machine with the performance of a luggable notebook. And this is one of the messenger bags that we decided to design ourselves. It's not for sale. Yeah. This is it. Just 0.88 inches thin. That's half the thickness. 0.88 inches thin. And just over 6 pounds. The same beautiful design on the outside, but a completely different machine on the inside. Isn't that amazing? Look at this. It's beautiful. Well, and it eats other gaming laptops for lunch. It's pretty cool. So this is the new Razer Blade. And it's amazing. We're super proud of it. So here it is in comparison with the laptops that we showed earlier. This is the Asus G75. It's about 2 inches thick. It's about 10 pounds. And let's look at the Alienware M17X. 1.8 inches thick, about 10 pounds. And this is the new Razer Blade. 0.88 inches thin and just 6.6 pounds. It's incredible. And you guys will remember the benchmarks I showed a little earlier. Diablo 3, Battlefield 3, Skyrim. No surprises here. The systems benchmark pretty well with all about the same levels of gaming performance. All three have a quad-core Intel chip. All three have GeForce GTX graphics. And this is how it kind of, if we take the whole spectrum of gaming laptops in the market, all the gaming luggables, you can see everything. And what's particular of note, you can see the G75 in blue. It's about 2 inches thick. You can see the rest of the luggables. And even the lower powered luggables. Look at the M14X. It's lower powered. It's still thicker and heavier than the new Razer Blade. It's incredible. So, half the thickness of traditional gaming laptops, half the weight of traditional gaming laptops, the new Razer Blade. To fit this amount of performance in a chassis so thin, it's an amazing feat of engineering. I'm still astounded. I'm still stunned at what our engineers have done. But It's fine. I've taken a whip and I've told them to get back to work. I'm still amazed. So, what did we keep? We kept the beautiful, it's got a gorgeous 17-inch screen, 17.3 inches. It's LED backlit, and it's got a native resolution of 1920 by 1080. It's full HD. It's got one of the most beautiful screens in the industry today, and it comes standard with the Razer Blade. None of that, we're going to start low and we're going to try to upgrade you upwards. We get the best possible standards right from the get-go. What else did we keep? And from the guys who were here last year, you will remember, we presented a custom-made, ultra-slim power supply. And it's designed with power experts that we brought in specifically to get greater efficiency. And let me just kind of show you the current standard power supplies out here. So this is one of the standard power supplies out there. It's incredibly heavy. It's a 120-watt power supply. It's large, it's heavy. It weighs about over 2 pounds. Two of these, it's about the same weight as a Razer Blade. If you carry 2 of these, it's pretty crazy. And this is the power supply of the Razer Blade, 120 watts. It's incredible. And we showed this last year. We showed this last year, a whole year on. And no one has copied us yet. But you know something? It's not because they can't. It's not because the big guys out there, they can't innovate faster or design something as slim. Probably not slimmer, but as slim. It's because they don't care. They don't care about us gamers. But we do. We customize all our parts because this is what we want: portability and power. You can slip it in your bag, and you won't even notice it. It's beautiful. So, we've talked about the extreme performance we've put into the new Razer Blade. We've kind of maintained that extreme performance in an ultra-thin form factor. And these 2 things alone make it an incredible, a phenomenal laptop. But what makes the new Razer Blade truly great is all these new features and applications we've kind of lined up for this. And what are they? I'm going to talk about 3 main improvements. We've made over 100 new improvements from the original Razer Blade to the new Razer Blade. But there are 3 main things that I'd like to talk about. First of which is the SSD HDD hybrid drive, solid-state drive, and the hard disk drive. We've upgraded things like the USB port, the Wi-Fi module, quieter fans, and the all-new Switchblade applications. That's what you guys are here for. So, let's look at the drives. So one of the things that we heard from the gamers was that they loved the 256 gig SSD we put in the original Blade. They said, this is fantastic. It's blazing fast. We're speed demons. We love it. But, of course, many of you guys said, hey, I kind of like the speed, but I really like the capacity of a traditional hard disk drive. So in short, you wanted both the SSD and the hard disk drive. You wanted to have your cake, and you want to eat it. That's fine, especially the dude that said. So, what did we do? We did just the thing. Our software and engineering guys sat down and combined a SSD and an HDD and created a hybrid solution. And it's awesome. What did we do? We took a 64 gigabyte, not one of the 32 and smaller gigabyte drives. We took a 64 gigabyte SSD cache, it's a full cache, and a whopping 500 gig traditional hard disk drive, and we put it together. Now, here's how it works. At the start, the data is taken from the hard disk drive, so it's a little slow at the start. It runs like a normal hard disk drive. But the hybrid solution intelligently learns which are the files that you commonly access, the ones which you take all the time. And it transfers it to the SSD cache. The SSD, it's blazingly fast. So what does this mean? Pretty much, you get the best of both worlds. You get 2 times the storage space from 256 to 500 gigs today, and you get 3 times the speed of a traditional hard disk drive. It's amazing. What else did we do? Well, we upgraded all the USB ports from just one USB 3.0 to 3 USB 3.0s, and they're all custom green, not one of those blue USB ports out there. And there are a couple of other small changes I think you guys will appreciate. Even when the system is off, if you plugged in your smartphone, you're still going to be able to charge. So small things that I think all of us appreciate. That's what we do. I'm glad you like it. So it's pretty nifty. It's pretty nifty. What are the other things that we did? Things that you guys may not necessarily notice. Well, we had a single band 2.4 gig Wi-Fi module in the original Blade. We've decided to upgrade it. It runs both on 2.4, runs also on 5 gigs. It's a dual band Wi-Fi module. What does that mean? Basically, again, the best of all worlds. Better range, less interference, and faster speeds. It's phenomenal. And all of you, every single one of you know that we make the best gaming mice and keyboards on this planet. And thank you. But what we've done is we've taken all that expertise and we've focused on the interface of the Razer Blade. We designed a full-sized gaming keyboard. It's a full-sized gaming keyboard. It's fully anti-ghosted. You can press any amount of keys and it will register. It's fully programmable. It's got every single feature that we've pioneered for gaming keyboards on it. And it feels fantastic. That's one of those things that people don't really notice when they're putting a laptop together. The keyboard, it feels insanely great. It's fantastic. We focused on the force curve of every single key on the keyboard. And what makes this truly special is the interface on the right. That's what we call the Switchblade user interface. 10 dynamic adaptive tactile keys on the top and a cell phone quality screen on the bottom. It's an incredible experience using it. So what have we done? You can pretty much get in the game and stay in there. All kinds of applications. You can have YouTube. It's right there. Watch a YouTube walkthrough. There's Facebook. There's Twitter. There's a browser. It's really incredible how it works. I mean, if you haven't had the chance to look at one in action, please find a friend with a Razer Blade. Look at it. But we've got even more new applications. So recently, we released a whole new slew of Switchblade UI applications. And I'm going to have Heathcliff Hatcher, Director of Product Marketing, join us. Mr. Hatcher?
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Is this thing on? So I'm going to spend a few minutes here taking through some of the new Switchblade applications that we have for the Razer Blade. In addition to that, we have a Switchblade UI on the Deathstalker keyboard and on the Star Wars The Old Republic keyboard. So we're giving customers a bunch of different places to experience this software. The first thing you can see here in the top corner is the game timer. So the game timer, one of the things I've noticed is I'm not the greatest League of Legends player. I've been told sometimes to exit the game or try some other server. But what I like is I can try the game timer, click the game timer, and it'll actually scroll down here through the battlefield respawns. I go down here to Summoner's Rift. If I want to know when the Baron is going to be respawning, I can tell, hey, it's killed. I can click that button, and boom, it'll automatically alert me in-game, or I mean in the UI, of when that's going to happen. So I can have my hands on the mouse and keyboard and have secondary information right there going. And I can also click the plus button here and create my own game timers for all sorts of titles, no matter how I want. So we offer a lot of different customization in the game. We also have a screenshot app that we've created. So one of my favorite things is I have a twin brother, and I like to show him. This is the kill shot I got in his head last night. So we'll send it to him here on Facebook. You know, we'll type in a description. No, I'm not going to be mean to him on national television here, so or wherever. So we'll go there. We also have game-specific applications. They're designed specifically with the trackpad in mind to let you play multiplayer titles with UIs we've custom created for specific games. One of the first we're going to talk about is Counter-Strike. We offer the app for Counter-Strike Go, for Source, and for 1.6. So I've been trying out Go, so I'll go ahead and select Go here. We would be showing you it in-game, but it takes a long time to boot a game and get out of a game. So I'll pick terrorist for the one guy that said he was a terrorist. Shame on you. You have your auto buy, you have your rebuy, you have your buy menu, you have the drop weapons, you have my preset weapons. You can go right back in if I want to go to sort. And you can see we've custom made them different depending on the title. So you can see in 1.6 it's a little bit different menu. We also have Team Fortress 2. So I love me some Team Fortress 2. So I also love buying hats and all sorts of retarded things with money on there. So my favorite character is an engineer. So as you can see, we have all the preset commands for the engineer ready to go. Got my little dance button here, so in case I kill you, I can dance right on your head. Switch from blue to red. We're ready to go. We also have Battlefield 3. We're showing custom loadouts for Assault, Engineer, Support, Recon. You'll see a theme here. I like the Engineer. So I like fixing things and blowing things up. And you get your custom wallpaper design ready to go for your character. You have all the integrated icons. Grenade, mini-map, target designator, different fire modes. So you're ready to go. And last but definitely not least in the few applications we're showing today, and we have many more in production, but these are just a few, is the Star Wars Combat Logger. For Star Wars The Old Republic, we're actually logging some of the combat log and showing it here visually. So when you're playing in the game, you can see, what your heal level is, how you're doing, what's your damage received per second, things like that. Now I'd like to take a few seconds to introduce some of the direct game integration. And I'd like to introduce Mark Kern, the CEO of Red 5 Studios, one of the creators of Firefall, to come up here and take a look at his application.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about what we've done to take a beautiful game and marry it to a beautiful laptop. I'm going into the actual Firefall beta. Firefall is a free-to-play, massive co-op online shooter, sci-fi themed. I'm going to log in here.
What's your password?
My password, oh, you almost got me. All right, so as you can see, it fires up immediately with the integrated Switchblade UI. And what you're seeing here is you can bind any of these keys up here into any function of the game natively from within the game. We've also got a couple other features here on the trackpad that I'm going to show you right now. All right, so here I am. And you'll notice that wherever I touch, that becomes the center of an analog joystick. So this is great for things if you're a recon and you want to snipe, or if you're driving one of the Firefall vehicles and you want analog control over your gas, brakes, things like that. Now the other thing we can do is we can toggle mini-map mode. And you can, basically, the idea is to take the map off of your screen and to put it on the Switchblade UI. But we don't want to just stop there. We're eventually going to let you move anything you want there, including chat, player profiles, trades, and even the in-game stores, since we're free-to-play microtransaction based. Now, Firefall has battle frames that have abilities, so it's not just things like your guns, but I can actually sit here and fire off abilities like a healing wave, or my favorite, the poison trail. Use your friends. Now, because we're completely integrated, let's say you have another battle frame that you want to try out. I don't have to leave the application or sit there and reconfigure my keybinds. I can go ahead and switch instantly to my new battle frame, and you notice that the icons update instantaneously, so I can do my crater ability and I can do my shockwave ability. And last but not least, we also have the ability to bind our call downs. So Firefall is a game where you have abilities, but you also have sort of like army utilities. And one of the main things we do is mine resources in the game. And you do that by calling down what we call a thumper. So normally I have to go up and pull up the nav wheel, something like this, and then scroll down to the right thing. But here I've just immediately bound it right into a hotkey so I can throw my sonic detonators. And I can go ahead and, if I want to, throw down a thumper, which is the big thing you see at our booth.
Thumper incoming.
Whoa, that thing is impact. Okay, so this will begin to extract resources from the earth, and we can go ahead and kill our monsters, use our abilities, all with the Switchblade UI, and then I can go back when I'm done, send my thumper back, and extract the resources. This is a game that I play on Blade all the time, and with the new Blade, we've gone from running on medium settings to ultra high settings here on Firefall. So that's an amazing feat. That's a tremendous amount of power for this engine with this draw distance. All right, and I want to thank Heathcliff and Min very much for the opportunity to show Firefall here and what we're doing with the UI. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thank you. That was awesomely cool. Thank you. Now that was really cool. I just can't get enough of Firefall. So thank you very much, Mark. And it's not just the top-tier game studios and developers that are working on the Switchblade UI, but it's also the hobbyists, the third-party developers who are also working on Switchblade applications. About a month ago, or maybe about 3 weeks ago, we announced it at Gamescom. We've got a free software SDK for the Switchblade UI for anyone who wants to develop on it. And feel free to come by to the website, razerzone.com/switchblade-UI, if you're interested in developing for the Switchblade UI. And personally, I would love to get a Reddit app, to use when I'm working and it's coming up at the same time. And candidly, if there are any developers out there who's going to get me a Reddit app, I've got a Deathstalker with your name on it. All right? So, in summary, extreme performance, an Intel Core i7 quad-core CPU, an NVIDIA GTX 660M, and 8 gigs of RAM, 1600 megahertz. It's extremely powerful. But yet still ultra portable. An all-aluminum chassis, 0.88 inches thin, just 6.6 pounds. That's half the thickness of a traditional gaming luggable. It's half the weight. 3-inch screen, it's a beautiful screen, full HD. And all these new features and applications, an SSD hybrid drive, USB ports, dual band, Wi-Fi, and all these new great Switchblade applications. Pretty amazing. So the beauty is now the beast. And there are no real comparables for a laptop like that. If you think about it, right now in the market, you've either got those really thin Ultrabooks, that are nice Ultrabooks, really portable. But it's not great for gamers like us. We want to have some power. Or on the other end of the spectrum, you've got really thick and heavy gaming laptops. So there's no real comparison for a laptop like the Razer Blade. And when we first announced the Razer Blade last year, the list price was $27.99. So today, we've got this even more powerful. It's not just having great performance, but it's got extreme performance. And we've kept it just as thin and light. So technically speaking, if you think about it, it should be a little bit more expensive. But the only difference is, last year, when somebody asked me, I was up on stage and a couple of you guys were here last year, somebody asked me, why is it so pricey? And I said, look, we are no Dell. We are no HP. This is our first, at that point of time, that was our first gaming laptop. Right out of the blue, our first gaming laptop. And we handcraft all these laptops, each of them. We mill them out of aluminum. And if you compare us to one of the traditional makers, it's like comparing a Ferrari to a Ford. So we handcraft all these blades while the Fords are all churned out by the millions. But I did say this, that if the Razer Blade was a success, if we managed to have just this small chance of making the original Razer Blade a success, we would have a slim chance, just this slim chance of being able to go back to these manufacturers and say, hey, people don't just want to have lower prices all day long. They actually want to have innovative products. They want to have something truly cool. And the Razer Blade was insanely successful. So, even with the new extreme performance, even though we've managed to keep it in that ultra-thin form factor, and even with all these new amazing features and applications, from CSGO to Firefall, even with all these new features, the new Razer Blade will be retailing at $24.99. We've managed to bring it down. It's incredible value. Incredible value for a laptop that is one of a kind, both performance and portability. So, when are we shipping? When are we shipping? Well, you can put your pre-order down because this is such a secret chip for the CPU. You can put your pre-order down right after this. You can pre-order it now, and we will ship in 30 days. And given how the first Razer Blade did, I suggest you get out there and put your order as soon as you can. So, all this could not be possible without the first adopters. I'll admit that. And those are the guys that we tend, and many of you are first adopters, the early adopters. We are the guys that tend to get overlooked all the time. All this could not be possible. The new Razer Blade could not be possible without the first adopters who took a leap of faith and bought the original Razer Blade. And I would like to take a moment to thank the early adopters. Because of you, we managed to make the Razer Blade a success, and because of you, the new Razer Blade is possible. And because of you, we have come out and say, we would like to thank you. If you've bought the original Razer Blade, your next purchase of the new Razer Blade, we will take $500 off the purchase price. Thank you very much. Well, we've made a really short ad. We're almost running out of time. We've made a really short ad to kind of show the new Razer Blade, and it'll be up on our Facebook page. Please come by, facebook.com/Razer. And I hope you share it with everyone and get the word out of the new Razer Blade, and hopefully next year, we can even get it lower for you. And if you guys didn't know, that custom shing sound. We actually customized it for the boot up sound of all the Razer Blades too. We are really picky. Yeah, that's right. So extreme performance, ultra portable form factor, all these new features, the beauty is now the beast. Well, let me just finish off. It's been a whole year, and we've pushed the limits of innovation with performance and portability. But what bothers me is that the rest of the industry, what has changed, really, for PC gamers? Nothing. And that's what makes me angry. You know, the same tire designs, it's the same luggables, same power supplies, the same things regurgitated over and over again. Oh, it's cheaper, but it's the same thing. Nobody's pushing the limits of innovation. No one's investing, candidly, in R&D for PC gamers on a hardware level. Thank God for guys like Firefall. But no one really is innovating. But here is where we will carry the flag with you. And I promise you that we will continue innovating for PC gamers even when nobody else does. And I promise you that we will continue pushing the envelope even when all these guys out there are calling us crazy. And I promise you that we will remain for gamers, by gamers. Thank you.